This
Okay.
conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. As Stanley said, you can stop me at any time. You can ask me your question on chat or on the call, or you can post your questions on the WhatsApp. I will get it addressed. So yeah, we can actually get into the training part. So today, as I mentioned, it is not going to be the Nutanix based one because we touch base on the some of the basic side, and it is not in the scope of Nutanix training, but this is specifically uh, for this training. Okay, so nobody will cover about all this. I mean, probably today and tomorrow, nobody will touch base on the training, but this is specifically for this particular training plan. So you can stop me if you have any questions. Okay. Uh, so before touch base on the basic side, I wanted to touch base on the some of the certification side. So you might have already know that Nutanix has different structures for different certifications. So associate, professional, master, and the expert. Associate is something it came newly. Okay, so maybe 1 year back it was not there, 1 or 2 years back it was not there. It was directly a professional NCP, then it was a NCAP, then last one is NPX, but associate came newly. So it's a very basic level certification. As part of this training, probably you'll be in a good position to take up associate and professional, but some experience with master you get it. Okay, but master is something like very advanced one. You will need to have a lot of troubleshooting skills. You need to own your lab and do a lot of things, which is I mean again, you requires some production experience for taking up the master courses. Okay, but with this training, we will be. I think you will be having a lot of confidence to take up associate and professional certification. Okay, so and it is not limited to these four. Then Nutanix has so many products like Nutanix Kubernetes engine, which is called Cobb, and then Nutanix has COM, then software-defined networking called Flow. So it has a different services and different products. So for each product, so they have a different certification. Okay, but that's not really needed if you don't working on if you don't work on that specific feature or specific services. Okay, so but associate and professional, it is now it becomes very mandatory certification. So wherever you go, the basic question you get it, do you have NCP certification? Okay, now associate, I don't say I mean it gives sort of confidence to take a professional certification, but the major requirement for Nutanix is professional certification. Okay, so this training will help you a lot in taking up the professional certification. Okay, after this training, we will provide some of the dumps and and some of the preparation kit, like which are the areas you have to put a lot of more concentration. So that point, even during the courses I will touch base, or I will highlight which are the you may expect questions from this particular module. Okay, so wherever highlight wherever I touch this specific model, I'll say that okay, so you have to put extra effort in this particular area. You may expect some questions from that particular area. Okay, so this is certification side. Then if you're not sure which certification to take it, because obviously I told this is very mandatory certification, associate and professional, but moving to the next one, I told right there are a lot of services. I don't know which one to take it up, but so probably you might have a question because they have a consulting services. If you are a field engineer or if you are working for the professional services, you go to a customer site, you do the implementation. Okay, so for that specific knowledge is required because foundation. If you already worked on Nutanix, you might know foundation is a product from Nutanix. Okay, that helps you to getting up or provisioning your cluster. Okay, so that experience is required for field engineers or professional services team, but that's not really required for the administrator or operation team side. Okay, but having those knowledge really help you a lot. But we are not skipping any product or any services. Okay, but but to be honest, uh, we cannot touch base all the services in 100% way, right? Because every product requires different level of effort and then different level of lab. With the Nutanix, we will not be able to meet such requirement, because having a lab is very challenging one, because with community edition, Nutanix supports very limited features, so we try to uh, cover as much as possible with the lab session. But you can have this experience, then you can highlight your resume with the skills, and definitely adds weightage to your profile. Okay, so uh, if you wanted to know about block services, okay, Nutanix has volumes, then Nutanix have file services. So you wanted to get into that, then probably you can highlight, are you are working on multi-cloud environment, or you're working on hybrid cloud environment, or you want to know software defined networking. So you can go and explore on this particular link, and then it helps you which are the certification available under that umbrella, and then you can decide whether you wanted to take it up. Okay, so that I will share you all this link in the WhatsApp. Maybe you can spend some time later on this part. And then Nutanix has a subject matter expert program. Um, so there are a lot of certification available, and for every certification there are a lot of exams. Okay, so each exams you have set of questions, so you wanted to be part of that exam panel, like you want to prepare question for them, then that's available with the Nutanix. That's called Nutanix SME program. If you get selected for this program, then you can be a part of the exam panel, and you can select questions, or you can prepare your question, and then you can share it with them. There are so I mean there is a review panel, they review and then finalize, and then it gets published. Okay, what is the qualification for this program? You need to have a lot of certification, and you need to have a strong experience with Nutanix, and your profile should have some weightage. Okay, so based then they evaluate you in a different in multiple ways. So if you have meet all the requirement, then you will be part of this SME program. I was part of this program 2 years back. Okay, I was SME, then I was part of data services team. So like Nutanix volumes I told, right? I was part of the exam panel, and then I got prepared some questions. But later I couldn't renew my SME program certificate, so I'm currently not part of it. But I was part of this program for a year. Okay, then partner portal. If your organization or customer is already a partner of Nutanix, then there is a separate portal available in Nutanix for partners. Okay, if you are with your organization email account, you can create a portal, and then you can log into the Nutanix partners portal. So what you get with this, mostly all the KB articles, and then some of the partnership. I mean, some internal documents, and then a lot of videos, webinars, trainings, and certifications, some vouchers for these free vouchers for the certifications, and lot more. Okay, you cannot log in with Gmail. You have to use your partner, your organization email account, and at the same time, they have to be a partnership with Nutanix. If they are not partner, if they don't have partnership with the Nutanix, then you will not be able to create account here. So then you will have to go to Nutanix University, which is a separate portal for learning. There you can use your Gmail account to create your profile, then take up some of the on-demand courses, and then register your exams, all that. You can do it from the Nutanix University. So Nutanix University is, they have posted a lot of videos in the YouTube. You can also watch those videos. Okay, and next one, user group. Nutanix has the user group for almost most of the countries. Okay, it's a country-based user group. Okay, and if you can search for this, and then you can be a part of this user group. So they conduct lot of sessions. In India, it is not active comparatively other countries. Okay, because every user group there is a champion who closely work with Nutanix team, and then conduct a lot of events, and then participants gets a lot of gift, and they conduct a lot of uh, um, webinars, meetings in a Nutanix office. Okay, I try to be part of this user group. I mean, I wanted to be a champion for this user group in India. I tried to get the championship, but unfortunately, it was already given to a different folk, and they said for this year they will not be able to provide me. Then after that, I didn't try it. But if you try for Singapore or if you try for other countries, they do a lot of things, and even you can still attend other countries user group session. They give a lot of information. Okay, you can meet expertise from Nutanix. There are a lot of product demos, and you can ask your questions if you have something on your production. You can ask your questions. Okay, so it get it addressed. So it is a combination of customer, partner, and Nutanix folks. Okay, so people from these three categories, they come and join here, and they make this session uh, more interactive. Okay, this is one of the best session from Nutanix, but not in India. So I always try to attend the sessions in other areas like Singapore, some of the sessions from Europe. Okay, you can, if you have any interest, you can try for this. Last one is Xstripe. There are two Xstripe. Okay, one is for customer and another one is for partner. If you are a customer with Nutanix, then you can take customer Stripe account, or you can go for partner. Okay, so they give you a lot of points. Like if you clear one certification, they give you 2,000 points. They same way they post a lot of content. If you have to watch it or you have to share it in the LinkedIn, and then they give you a lot of challenges. You have to clear the challenges. For every challenge, they give you some points. If you have decent amount of point, then you can take you can buy a lot of things. There are a lot of items available like iPhone, Mac, then some T-shirts, lot of electronics items, as well as some of the uh, um, e-commerce items available. You can buy it for free with points. You have to give the point, and then you can get it. If you are working on the uh, for the marketing side, okay, or pre-sale side, then this is the best platform here for you. Okay, for every deal you won, you get a lot of points from them, and then you can buy a lot of products from the extra. So this is the last one which I just wanted to share it with you. Okay, I'll share you all these links, or meanwhile you can do Google and you can find this and go with the. I mean, you have to use for Xstripe, you have to use your organization email account. Okay, so you can try it. Any question on this part, on certification to Xstripe? Any question? Okay, I take silences. Okay. Okay. Now we move in. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. Before we get into that, okay. So,
Hmm.
what is Nutanix actually like? Okay, few of them are new, right? So myself also new. So
Nutanix,
I
right?
have yeah, the the word we hear, okay, Nutanix, but okay, we could not understand what is the basically it is like okay a hardware or whether it is okay like VMware kind of solution. How it will be like?
Yeah. Similarly, even I
Sure.
have like even it's like a
Okay.
VMware,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Got
cloud
it.
kind of.
Got it. Got it. So please give me time till tomorrow. Tomorrow, okay. And even if you have this question on, I strongly believe you will not have this question by tomorrow. But if you still have that question, you can feel free to ask me. But definitely, you will not have that question. But I just want you to be a little. I mean, because if I talk about Nutanix now, it still makes you confusion now, because in one word, if I talk about, you will get the word, but you don't understand what's the background of that. So that's what I said this one today and tomorrow. I talk from the legacy to Nutanix, so then you will be able to catch up what I'm trying to say. Okay, so please bear with me. Today and tomorrow, I mean, we are going to talk about all this part. So end of tomorrow, you will be in a situation to explain what is Nutanix.
Sure. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so see now. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to talk about Nutanix now, but we just see what is data center now. So you might have come across these three technologies. If not, that's fine. I'll talk about this. Okay. So traditional three-tier infrastructure is the first one. Okay, and you see this is still available in the most of the data center. Okay, I don't need to say it is a legacy, but because uh, okay, so okay, consider this is our traditional three-tier infrastructure. Then I come to the point what I'm trying to say later. Okay, so now traditional three-tier infrastructure. What is three-tier? You have a server. This is a compute part. Then you have a network part. Then you have the storage part. So these three uh, tier actually used in the traditional data center. Okay, so you buy a hardware. Okay, you buy a server, then you buy a network components or network equipment, then you have the storage. Okay, for every tier you have a separate team. Okay, for server you have a server team, for network you have a network team, storage you have a storage team. Okay, so then in on server team, it may be a virtualizations or a Wintel team who manages Windows and then base hypervisor. Okay, but again, three different teams, three different components. That's how traditional three-tier infrastructure looks. Okay, so here one problem, or I say is now for an example, you are going for a SQL deployment. Okay, so what you do is you invite server team, you invite network team, and you invite storage team, and top of that you invite your application team, SQL team. So you will have a lot of discussion with them to set up the SQL. Okay, so every component owners, they ask their question or they say about their concern limitation, and then you have to you have to take a decision at final stage. But this discussion itself will take long time. Okay, that one problem you have it with traditional. To address this problem, hey, I see this takes me long time because I need to invite each and every stakeholders. I have to sit and talk with them, understand the, I have to explain my requirement, and then I have to listen from them. Then the finalizing the deal is, I mean, finalizing the design and product project is taking longer. Okay, so to address this problem, they have come up with a converged infrastructure. What they do is you still have the three-tier model. Server is different, network is different, then storage is different, but all three put into one rack. Okay, it is you have a rack. In that rack it is all three tiers are put together and it is connected. Okay, you buy a box. Example, I can give you a FlexPod. NetApp, Cisco, and VMware, they combined, they created this technology in FlexPod. Okay, then we blocked from the uh, uh, I think Hitachi. Okay, so different vendors, they had a partnership with other vendors, and then they developed this solution. Okay, the advantage of this, still it is three-tier. Okay, but it is already tested against 30 plus solutions like SAP, SQL, or Exchange server, or any database server. You wanted to know the compatibility, because in this infrastructure, you go for server separate vendor, then you go for networks to a separate vendor, then you go for storage, you go for different vendor. After you buy, you will check the compatibility, because you are going to run some solution. You might have a set of specific requirement, and you need to know the compatibility, right? So later point you do the compatibility testing, and then you might have some surprise, or it may work or it may not work. But here there is no last moment surprise, because they already tested against some solution. Hey, I want converge infrastructure for SAP. Then they give you, okay, so you take up this box. It is already tested against this solution, so you can just connect it on your data center. You don't need to do cabling part. It is already internally connected, so just connect the box. Okay, and then you can start deploying your application. Okay, coming to the support, here the problem is, if any issue comes server side, you have to raise a ticket with server team. For storage, you have to raise a ticket with storage, or if it is with the network, we will work with Cisco team for network related issues. But here, uh, but problem here, sometimes server team says, hey, my side it looks okay. You can check with your storage side. Then if you go to storage vendor, they say, hey, my side it is working fine. You need to check with the server team. So this is how they just blame each other, and sorting the problem is again a big headache for the customer. So this address that problem. Okay, they have a centralized support team. So Cisco servers, network Cisco switches, and storage from NetApp. Okay, so these three companies, Cisco hardware, then storage from network Cisco, storage from NetApp. These two organization, and then VMware side ESXi as hypervisor, right? These three organization already have a contract, made a partnership, and they built centralized support team. Irrespective of component, you can just write your ticket with the centralized team. They have a expertise from so all the side. Okay, so they look into this issue. They don't say, hey, it's not my issue, you need to check with the server. They don't say such story. So they look into your issue, and then they sort out your problem. Okay, so that one advantage you get it with this solution. Okay, so it makes your operation, it makes your deployment very easy. Okay, so other than that, I mean, in performance side, there is no much difference, and even cost side, there is no much difference. Okay, this makes, just in a second. Hey, sorry guys. Okay, so that, I mean, traditionally it is a three different component. You still have to work with three different the vendors. But converged infrastructure is all you get it in one box and centralized supporting. But it's still traditional three-tier infrastructure. Okay, so then moving to the last one is a hyper converged infrastructure. That is where, I mean, we are actually going to talk about it. Before touch base this, we still need to discuss about some of the storage concept. Okay, because the hyperconverged infrastructure is more related to the storage side. Okay, there is an evaluation on the storage side, because you see here we have a fiber channel switch here. This is where your storage connected. But if you come here, the storage and compute is put into one box. Okay, when I say one box, it is a server. Okay, so that level of modification done with the hyperconverged infrastructure. But why it has been looking, I mean, why it is looking like that? Okay, so because here I said there is a problem, so it addressed that problem. Okay, what is the problem? Three components, three vendors. I have to work with three different vendor for for any issue, and then looking at the compatibility, it takes longer time to set up any solution. Okay, so that this converged infrastructure addresses that problem. Okay, but what problem I have it here? That's second question. Okay, if you have any problem, then to address that problem, there would be a new technology, right? Obviously, there is a problem. Okay, so that's where hyperconverged infrastructure comes. Okay, so before moving to that, I still need to talk about the traditional data center. Okay, so you have a server. It may be a Dell server or Cisco server, and this, on top of that, you have installed VMware or Microsoft Hyper-V. Okay, this server is connected to the SAN switch. Okay, this is a storage switch, and then it is connected to the storage box. Okay, you have a SAN controller, and then controller has a couple of disk shelf, and then it gives you the storage. Okay, so this is how a SAN based connectivity looks. Okay, you buy server from Dell, or HP or Cisco, any vendor. Okay, then you have a storage switch. Storage switch can be from Cisco or Brocade, and then we have a Dell EMC storage. Okay, so it can be Hitachi or it can be NetApp. Okay, so here if you see, the storage is kept along, right? The storage is not here. If the server needs to talk to storage, it has to go to the storage switch, and then it has to go to the storage controller. Okay, so one side you consider the cost. Okay, you have to invest on server, then you have to invest on storage switch, and then you have to invest on this connectivity, and then you have a storage controller. So you go for dual controller for the redundancy and high availability. Okay, so then you will be having multiple one or two SAN controllers here, then it is connected to the disk shelf at the back end. Okay, so that's one part. Okay, so this is how a SAN environment looks, and then we see what is DAS. Okay, DAS, it is a directly attached storage. Okay, so consider your desktop or laptop, it is a DAS concept because the hard disk is locally connected to the motherboard. Okay, so same way, we have some servers. This server has a local storage. It does not go this way to talk to the storage. Okay, it has a local storage, and it reads and writes the data local, similar like our laptop. Okay, so when a data center comes, initially it was more of a DAS based storage. Okay, so all the disks are connected locally to the system. Okay, so okay, then why we moved from DAS to SAN? That question comes, right? So see here, I have three servers. Okay, this is my server one, this is my server two, and this is my server three. Okay, so all the server, consider it is on the DAS concept. Okay, it has a local storage. I'm not having a SAN environment here. Okay, so it is a DAS DC. Okay, so here I have 5 GB, not 5 GB, 5 TB storage. I have, okay, so here probably I have 3 TB. Then here I have probably 5 TB. Okay, I'm running uh, database here. Then this is my file server. Okay, then I have Active Directory running here. Okay, so each server has its own storage, so it reads and writes the data local. I don't need to invest on the storage switch here. Okay, then I don't need to have the storage controller here. Okay, so in another way, I don't need SAN network here. Okay, SAN connectivity here, because all my servers are having a local disk, so it stores the data locally. Okay, so this is how initially data center looks. Okay, but now the problem comes here. Okay, consider uh, at one point of time the file server is the storage is getting, it is almost reached 90 percentage, so now it needs additional storage. Okay, so it needs additional storage. So what you do is you look for if there is a slot here available, you can buy a new hard disk and you can attach to this. Otherwise you can see if there is any disk shelf available, similar like this. Okay, so like this, it has collection of disks. You will connect that to your server and you add more storage. Okay, if it is for one server, you do some optimization or you do some way to sort out this problem. In a data center, you have 1,000 servers. 1,000 servers in 1,000 servers out of 500 servers are facing this problem. Okay, this is one side. Okay, this problem is one side. Another side, I have Active Directory. Okay, similar way, I have very lightweight servers running. I'm very much sure that it is going to be it is going to consume maximum 2 TB of storage at, at as it on its lifetime. Okay, and it does not go beyond 2 TB. So I still have 3 TB empty. Okay, so probably in out of 1,000 servers, 300 servers are having this incident. Okay, so in 300 servers 3 TB is going wasted. So 3 into 300 into 3, it is 9,000 TB is overall. Okay, so overall 9,900 TB is going wasted. Okay, it is not about wasting the resource. At the same time, you already invested a lot of money, so your money is also going wasted. Correct. So customer is coming, hey, if it is one server, I can tolerate this, but see, 300 server one side has problem of requiring more storage, and another side, another 300 server already provisioned with, over provision with resources. Okay, so one side I'm running a shortage of storage, one side I have over provision service. Okay, so customer is asking, see, I cannot go and invest again a lot of money to buy additional storage to connect the storage to the demanded server, because I already invested some amount here and it is going wasted. And if you still ask me to invest more storage, then it does not make any sense. Okay, so do you have any mechanism where I can share this free storage with this server? Okay, see, I know out of this 5 TB, it is going to maximum, it is going to consume 2 TB in its lifetime. I'm very much sure this 3 TB is going to be wasted. And if it is one server, I can leave it as it is, but I have 300 servers. So overall 900 TB of storage is going wasted, but I cannot leave it as it is. Can we share, or can we share that, use that storage to other servers? Because in one server I have 3 TB. It may require it may require 2 TB or more than 2 TB storage. So already here 3 TB is empty. So can I share that with another server? Okay, this is not possible in SAN. Sorry, it is not possible in the DAS. Okay, you cannot share the your local storage with another server. Okay, so to make it simple, you have a laptop. In your laptop you have 2 TB, 2 TB or 3 TB hard disk. Okay, and your brother has a laptop. Okay, he is also having the same, but he is having a lot of files, so he is requiring more storage. So he is asking, hey, you already have more storage, and I know you don't save any files in your laptop, but I do a lot of storage. I do use a lot of storage. So can you share your storage with me? No, it cannot be used, right? It can be used as a file service. Okay, it can be a shared location where you can copy and paste the file. Like in our project, we have a centralized server. The whole team gets assigned to that folder, and whoever wants to copy the file, they put it into the shared location, and anybody can access it. That way it works, but to work on that way, the server needs to be online all the time, correct? So in this way, it cannot be possible. Correct. So you cannot share your local storage with your brother's laptop. Okay. So that way it is not possible. So that problem arises in the DAS concept. Okay. So so the problem here is this advantage here is, okay, no shared storage. Okay. Okay. Then what advantage you get here is, okay, so your data is local. Okay, all your data is local, so your performance is good. Your read and write is always good comparatively other technology. Okay, so advantage is data local, so performance is good. Okay, your hard disk is connected to your laptop. All your files and data are sitting in your hard disk. Your computer, your hard disk is connected directly to the motherboard, so you can fast, you can access your data uh, very fast. But consider, if you have some data in your internet, or maybe in a different server and trying to access, it depends on your network. Correct. If network is slow, if the internet is very slow, or if internet is down, you will not be able to access this. If bandwidth is suddenly going down, you will have a performance issue. So there, the performance is measured on the network side, but here we don't have a question here because it is already connected. Your performance is good because it is local. Okay, read and write is local. So advantage here is data local, so performance is good, but you cannot share the storage with other server. Okay, so now customer is asking a question, same question. Okay, so do you have any solution where I get shared storage, because I cannot leave my data center like this. See, performance is not in my part. Okay, I am okay with the decent performance, I don't need extraordinary performance. Okay, but I have already invested a lot of money for the storage side. If I don't have a shared storage, then I mean, I don't see any benefit of running this business. Okay, so there is a question: do you have any solution for addressing this problem? This is where the second technology comes. Okay, so that's SAN. Okay, so in SAN, you have a server. Okay, we just now we see the presentation, right? You have a server. Okay, then you have storage switch, network switch, and then you have your SAN controller. It may be one or it may be two controllers. Okay, so server one, server two, then server three. So this is your storage switch, and this is your SAN controller. Okay, so here see, server is connected to the storage switch, and then storage switch is connected to the SAN controller. Okay, so here the storage part, right? The server has no storage. Okay, no no local storage. So all the storage from the server removed, and it put it into the SAN box. Okay, server has no storage. You install your hypervisor, that gets installed in this controller here. You get one LUN or maybe one data store provision from here, and it is connected to your storage. So it is connected to the storage, sorry, it is connected to the server, but it is not the local storage. Okay, it is over the network. So now moving from dash to SAN, you are investing for the storage switch, you are investing for the SAN controller, and then this connectivity part. These three additional investment comes into picture, and then the change is you disconnected all your local storage. There is a centralized storage available. With this network, you connected to the storage. Now the storage problem, I mean the shared storage problem, got sorted out. Okay, you need more storage or you want to expand your existing storage, that you can do it easily from the controller. Okay, so advantage here is, okay, shared storage. Okay, so but problem, I mean, a disadvantage, additional investment. Okay, so few customer okay with this design or approach. Okay, but again, here one problem. Okay, see, I told here on this dash, some customer says, hey, I'm okay with the decent performance, but I need local shared storage. Okay, my performance can be tolerated. Okay, I'm okay with the performance what you are providing, but my major concern is shared storage. Okay, so for that customer, SAN is the right solution. But some customers coming and asking you, hey, I cannot compromise on performance, but at the same time I need shared storage. Okay, so question indirectly, put DAS and SAN together and build one solution. Okay, in another way, put local storage and shared storage in one solution, give me a new solution. Okay, so here the problem is no shared storage. In SAN the problem is, okay, another disadvantage here is no data No data local. Okay, the data is not local. See, I mean, the storage is removed from local compute, local server to the SAN controller. So the data is not sitting local because there is no local storage. Okay, so this impact the um, customer who is looking for good performance. Okay, see, you are providing SAN storage, that is a shared storage, that's fine. But you moved my local storage, so because of that, my applications are facing performance problems. So give me one solution where I can get shared storage and local data local or local storage. Okay, so this is where HCI comes. Okay, so what is HCI? It is hyper converged infrastructure. Okay, this is HCI. Okay, so here you get data local, okay, and you get shared storage. Okay, so now you have an answer for all three. Why we were using DAS? Because DAS provides local storage, so performance is good. But one problem there, the problem is it is not providing the shared storage. Then move to SAN. SAN address the problem of shared storage, but performance is still questioned because I moved my local storage to SAN controller, and my performance is depending on this network. It may be iSCSI or FC connectivity. Depends upon the connectivity, my performance in measure, and additional investment required on the SAN side. Okay, this is one. Then last, current we are at hyperconverged infrastructure. This provides data local and shared storage. Okay, so any question here? Any question?
Yeah, Paul. Actually, with compared to the dash, okay, we don't get that
Hmm.
availability, right? So if the one server goes down, then that entire service was down, right? Whereas in that SAN, we have that okay shared, right? So we will have the failover cluster or something like okay, we will have that high availability so that that services will be available.
Correct. That's good question. Yeah, good answer as well as yeah. So that's a valid point. With
Right.
the setting up the high available servers on the DAS environment is not possible. But we have an answer for all that question in the hyperconverged infrastructure. So we take data local, we take shared storage, but at the same time, we have all the features available in current market like high availability, fault tolerance, then protection, data protection, backup. In traditional SAN environment, you use the RAID controller, but we are not going to use RAID in the HCI, but we have something called a replication factor, which protects your data. So there are a lot involved into HCI. So it definitely you see a lot of difference here. But as you mentioned, DAS, with the DAS, you cannot have the high availability. Correct. Any other question? So are you good in this?
Paul,
Okay, good. Yeah.
Okay,
So
no
cloud,
issues. You can continue. Right.
yeah, cloud related. How much giving
Hmm.
contribution for this NUTANIX? We are just discussing for this on premium. For if you
Hmm.
comparing to cloud Microsoft technology, I mean, give me some comparison. We how much help for this technology? We have, for example, AWS. It will give some benefit. For example, SSEM for patching we can use. For endpoint management we can use. For this Nutanix, what benefit we will? I mean, mainly if you tell one product, the product we can say, for example, Symantec. If you tell it's dedicatedly for antivirus, this product only for on premium, as I see.
Okay, so initially it was for the private cloud infrastructure, private cloud environment. So when I say private cloud, it is for the on-prem, but now it is the hybrid cloud enablement. Okay, so not only
Okay.
Nutanix, all HCA vendors started. I mean, they are already into hybrid cloud. Okay, so it is not like AWS, Microsoft, Azure, all like they
No,
are
just I
market
say
leaders in.
example, this
Hmm.
product that is dedicatedly for cloud. For Nutanix, it will be for on-premium, I mean private cloud or how much?
cloud contribution giving this technology? This is my question.
Okay. Yeah, this is also a cloud. Okay, so in cloud we have private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud. So AWS plays a public cloud, but Nutanix is for your private cloud initially, but now it is a hybrid cloud side. Okay, so with the Nutanix hardware, not only Nutanix today, if you take any HCI, you can build up, you can set up your private cloud environment. Okay, so uh, another one side. So before a couple, I mean, before HCA comes, setting up the private cloud environment involves high cost. Okay, so from the capital expenditure and then operational expenditure, you have a lot of it's a very big budget, but it simplifies your private cloud setup with Nutanix, or not only Nutanix, with the HCA, any HCA vendor. It simplifies your private cloud deployment. And then now similar like VMware on AWS, Nutanix can be deployed on I think Nutanix, as I know Nutanix, but I'm not sure about Cisco Hyperflex. Nutanix can be deployed on AWS and Azure side to enable your disaster recovery scenario. Okay, so but if you ask me one question, I cannot say that it is a private cloud now because it has already become a hybrid cloud. When you say hybrid, you have a combination of private and public cloud. Okay,
Okay.
but coming to the contribution side, it is not just like one feature. There are lot of features available. Okay, so setting up the private cloud, you said right, you need encryption. Then we need backup, we need disaster recovery, then we have the package management, and then we have security concern, then we need software defined networking, file services, block services. So there are a lot involved into the data center on private cloud side. So everything you get from the HCA vendors. Okay. So in specific Nutanix, we say it is a full stack model. So Nutanix is a full stack model in the sense whatever you need for your data center, everything you get it from Nutanix. So Nutanix is not a software, not a hardware company now. It's a software company. Okay. So earlier it was a hardware company, but Nutanix is now a software company. But how do I mean, you might have a question, how do you differentiate these two, right? So there are a lot of things to discuss. So probably then after the, probably next, tomorrow you will be, I mean, end of tomorrow you'll be having a lot of clarity on
Yeah,
these
already
areas.
this VMware is there. Just I'm just want to different between this. For example, virtualization this VMware between this Nutanix. That's it. Thank you.
Mhm. Okay. So, I mean, everywhere Nutanix plays a role. So, virtualization side, they have their own hypervisor. You can compare VMware with the Nutanix. Okay. Then coming to the hybrid cloud, yes, they play a major role. Then hardware, they also have their own hardware. Okay. And different things like coming to the storage, we are not talking about any SAN storage here because Nutanix itself offers you a storage. That storage is a distributed storage. Okay, so yes, every layer we have a role of HCI vendor or Nutanix. So it is not, I mean, in single question, if you ask me, with at this stage, I cannot make you, I mean, I cannot put in a single word, but probably if you spend some time on this training, then there are a lot of things to discuss. Okay. So what it plays in the private cloud, and then what is Nutanix's role in hybrid cloud, and then the virtualization side, right? So that's very big product from Nutanix, okay, from the
Yeah.
virtualization layer,
Okay.
okay. So any other
Okay.
question?
Yeah, Paul, last one. Actually, what are all the other vendors are providing that HCA, other than Nutanix?
Okay, Cisco has Cisco Hyperflex, then HPE has SimpliVity, Dell has VxRail, then VMware has vSAN, NetApp has, Microsoft has, then few small companies also has. But Nutanix is the market leader in HCI. But I don't say that in a single sentence. Okay, there is a lot big story behind this. We will see. Then you will also get to know that why people are saying Nutanix is leader in the HCA. Okay, you will be having that clarity end of tomorrow. Okay,
Thanks.
and we will compare all these competitors. Every vendor we have, there are a lot of competitors available. Okay, so if you see, Nutanix is well known for only HCI. Okay, they started in 12 years back only for Nutanix HCI. Okay, but Cisco, HP, VMware, Dell, they are already into this market for a very longer time. So beating all this company and moving to the first stage is not at all easy. Okay, because they already have a base customers. Cisco, with the network and other component, they already have a very long customer base. HPE with the server, they already have customer base. Dell, same story. Dell EMC also, so they have a long customers. For them, entering into the customer or reaching out to the customer and propose any solution is quite easy. But as Nutanix, when you can see the, I mean, you can feel that. Okay, when they started and they say they found a new solution to go to each customer, and then they have to talk about their organization. They see how long they've been into market, what is their legacy, right? But Cisco and all, they don't need to say, hey, I'm from Cisco, I have a new solution. Then obviously customers say, hey, Cisco, you have a very long strong legacy, so okay, yeah, talk about that. So it's easy for their pre-sales team to impress the customer and win the deal. But think about Nutanix. It was a new company, started very, I mean, almost 13 years back, and within 5 years they launched their product in a good way. And but reaching out to the customer, convincing them, okay, and making this deal win, and then reaching the first, sitting at the top level. That is not at all easy for any company, but Nutanix does it. But definitely there is a valid reason for it. I will talk about that. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so now we are actually getting into HCI. Okay, here we have so many competitors. We are going to see all that. Okay, so why the IT has moved to HCI? Answer is data local and shared storage with a simplified solution. Okay, so you don't get you get data local with the DAS, but you don't get shared storage. With the SAN, you get shared storage, but you don't get data local. But in HCI, you get data local and shared storage. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to touch base another one major issue in the traditional three-tier problem. So this adds some weightage to your knowledge. Okay, so consider this is the legacy environment, three-tier traditional. You have two servers and it is connected to the storage switch. Okay, and then you have this storage controllers. You have two controllers, and then it has the disk shelf. So here, the performance will be measured based on the controller, storage performance. Okay, so here I have two controllers. So every controller offers 1 lakh IOPS. So totally, I have 2 lakhs IOPS capable of SAN environment. Okay, so I connected two servers, and on that two servers, I run some application. So now this performance of this controller is maximum 2 lakhs IOPS. So now I have two servers, so each server gets 1 lakh and 1 lakh IOPS. So totally 2 lakhs IOPS is shared by these two servers. Okay. If it produce more than 1 lakh IOPS, it does not go to it does not give you that performance. Okay, at maximum it can generate and send 1 lakh IOPS, or at maximum 2 lakhs. So consider only one server, then that one server itself can generate 2 lakhs IOPS, and this controller is capable of handling the request. But if it goes beyond, then you will have a bottleneck problem. Okay, it looks okay, decent, but now you need more compute. Okay, so this server has no local storage, but it has local compute part. When I say compute, it is CPU and memory. Okay, when you have more CPU, more memory, you can consider more users. You can accommodate more user lock-in, right? So storage is separate layer. Okay, so now I added one more server, third server. Okay, so now this side, I'm not scaling anything. It's still same 2 lakhs IOPS. Okay, but I have added one server extra. This added server brings some CPU and memory part. Okay, So the question is, performance is good, but I need to support more users. Okay, when you need to support more users, you need more CPU and memory. So they added one server, but see here, now the 2 lakhs IOPS divided by these 3 servers. So from 1 lakh IOPS to it goes to 60,000 IOPS, because it has to share it with a new server. Okay, so now three servers are sharing this 2 lakhs IOPS. So adding server increase the more users, or more in the sense more CPU and memory, but it does not increase the storage performance. Okay, so another side, so now customer is feeling, okay, let's add one more server and see the performance. He added fourth server, and again the 2 lakhs is still same. So 2 lakhs divided by 4. So each server gets 5,000, 50,000 IOPS. Okay. So to add more servers, the performance for each and every server is getting reduced. Okay. Initially it was 1 lakh, then it goes to 66,000. When I have 3 servers, now I have 4 servers, it goes to 50,000 IOPS. So if I keep on adding servers, overall still the controller is handling 2 lakhs IOPS, but servers wise, the storage performance is not good, because it to add more server it is getting reduced, right? So keep adding server is not getting better in terms of storage performance, but at the same time it can accommodate more users, because I have decent amount of CPU and memory, so it can accommodate more users, but serve the storage is still limited. I have a problem. Okay, so this is a problem with the traditional data center. Okay, if you keep add server, that will not increase your performance in terms of storage, but it just only increases your CPU and memory. Okay, so why don't we add some controllers here? That's second question, right? To add controller is not easy one in the legacy environment, because it again involves a lot of design change, and controller is very costly one, and it takes a big cost. So customer does not easily take up this call. Okay, so that is a problem in environment. Okay, so answer here is no. Adding disk shelves can be done, but no additional controller performance to drive the additional flash disk. Okay, so they have see here, they have only 4 disk shelf, but then they expanded to additional 4 disk shelf, but it again adds extra storage disk. You know what is a disk shelf? It has collection of disk. Okay, so they have added storage extra, like here added CPU and memory, right? Here we have added CPU and memory extra. Same way they have added disk shelf, but they have not expanded their controller. Okay, so this performance is based on this controller. Okay, and as I mentioned, it is not easy, and it requires a lot of cost, lot of design changes, and requires some downtime. It is a very big activity, so customer will not easily take up this call. Okay, so this is not the simplified solution, right? So it is a very complex scenario. Okay, this in issue is with the traditional 3-tier infrastructure. Okay, how do we address this problem in our HCI component? Okay, so here, as I mentioned, the storage is local. You have server 1, you have server 2, you have server 3, and then you have server 4. Okay, the difference from SAN to HCI. Okay, so when you have a local storage, okay, storage requires a controller, correct? Storage requires a controller. So now every server has a disk controller. Okay, disk controller running installed on all the servers. Okay, but if you compare this, here you have server, you might have a disk controller here, but your disks are not locally connected. So your disks are connected to the controller. To access your disk, you use your network to maybe a fiber channel or HCI connected to reach out to your controller. That connect hits that controller and then goes to disk shelf. But here, every server, okay, so this is your server 1, okay, server 2, server 3, and then server 4. Okay, so I have totally four servers, and 4 servers. Each server there is one disk controller, so I totally get 4 controllers. Okay, so here's some local storage, here's some local storage, and here's some local storage. So every server there is a controller. So if I add one more server, what will happen? If I add one more server, I get, see, in HCI, what is server? Server has CPU, server has memory, server has storage, correct? Okay, but in SAN, okay, server means it has CPU, it has memory, no storage. Okay, so here, if I add one more server, I add CPU, I add memory, then it also adds some storage along with the controller. There is one more controller gets added here. Okay, here one more controller. So if you again compare this with this example, so here every controller offers 1 lakh. So 2 controllers, I get 2 lakhs IOPS. Okay, if you compare that with here, so consider if this server, this controller offers 1 lakh IOPS. So I have 4 servers. So total overall I get 4 lakhs IOPS. If I add one more server, I get 5 lakhs IOPS. So my performance is getting better by adding more servers. It accommodate more users. At the same time, it increases my storage performance. Okay, because when you add server, it comes with the default, it comes with CPU and memory, and then storage has controller and then local disk, right? So it may have one disk or it may have multiple disks, but either way, but default you get your disk controller. So adding server is equal to adding controller on HCI. This is one big difference with HCI. So this is very simplified. To add server, you don't need to make any design change. It is very simple. Just add your server to your existing cluster. Okay, there is an option in GUI. Go and do the expand cluster operation. Within half an hour or 1 hour, your new server gets added into your existing cluster. So now you have a new disk controller, new data, new additional storage, CPU, memory, all you get it within short moment of time. And this does not require a lot of, it does not require complex use cases. Okay, but here the problem is when you have to buy your attach your controller, you look for maintenance, then you have to change the connectivity. Okay, so from storage switch to control, all that changes you have to do. You have to wait for the weekend, then you have to wait for the planned downtime. It requires a lot of stakeholders discussions. You have to propose a topology with other stakeholders. You have to get their confirmation. So all it requires a very long process, right? But that's something simple in the HCI. Okay, is it clear?
So it is similar to a kind of an auto scaling, right? Like we can, let's
No, you
say,
cannot say auto scaling. Auto scaling in the sense in a cloud environment, like you can set up your auto scale, like it or based on the requirement, it automatically adds extra V instances or reduce the instances. But here that's not a case. You have to buy your hardware. Okay, so you have to buy it, procure, you have to get it connected to the network switch, and then you have to connect that server to part of your existing cluster. So this cannot be auto scaling.
sorry, I spoke in terms of virtual thing. Okay, it's a physical.
It's
Okay,
a physical hardware, right? Yeah, it's a
yeah, yeah,
physical
yeah.
hardware.
Yes, sir. Okay, okay.
Okay. Can we have no, multiple model of hardwares inside?
Okay, yes, you can mix and match different comp hardware vendor. You can match different models like question HPE Cisco can be mixed, HPE Dell can be mixed. Yes, it can be mixed. Or from HPE, different model of servers available, DX 380, DX 360. Yes, you can mix it, but these are not recommended for the production environment. Okay, for a lab or for a testing side, you can mix it, but production it is not recommended. Why? I tell you. Okay, so consider this server. you buy from HPE. Okay, so you buy from HPE, then you buy this from Dell. Okay, so performance is measured based on firmware. Okay, driver, SSD model, or other hardware model. Okay, compute, and lot of stuffs involved. Okay, and then hypervisor version. Okay, so lot of things involved. So HP has certain firmware driver. They use a different SSD. Dell is different. It is not uniform, right? So HP hardware gives you different performance measurement, and then Dell gives you different. But when you mix it, it is not uniform. So cluster, when your cluster obviously throws some performance problem. So it can be built. Answer is yes, but it is not recommended for the production. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Moving to the next part. Okay. So this is part. I mean, this one we already discussed the bottlenecks. We are going for NIC card, HPA card, storage fabric switches, shared storage array. This all we are actually investing here. So here a server, then it has the NIC card or a HPA card, then SAN switch, storage array, right? So all that investment required. Then your performance also varies depends upon this component. So but you face your bottleneck maybe at the server level or a hypervisor level or application level, or maybe this HPA code, or maybe this SAN stage, or maybe the controller. So anywhere you can have the performance issue. So you have to continuously monitor each and every component in your traditional data center. Okay, so that is the biggest problem in the uh, bottleneck in the three-tier infrastructure. Okay, so you have three, and you also need to buy this all component, right? And cost is also involved. Okay, then converged infrastructure, I said, right? I'm not. We are not going to touch base this. I mean, it is just for your understanding. I just put it, but we are not going to discuss anything on that part. We already discussed something. FlexPod, combination of Cisco and NetApp. Okay, you have a Cisco server here, then Cisco switches here, then under that you have the NetApp storage, all into one box. Okay, at the back end, all the cabling is already done. You just buy this box, connect it, and within a short moment of time, you can bring up your data center. Then V block, it's between, so only EMC gets replaced. This one is with the NetApp storage, and this one is with the Dell EMC storage, V block. Okay, but concept is all same, only the storage vendor is replaced here. Okay, so we are at this stage, and we are moving to this. Okay, it's a three different tier, and then moving to a simple box. Okay, so that's the three-tier architecture to HCI, hyper-converged infrastructure. Okay, so what is
Hi, Paul.
HCI? Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Paul. Sorry to interrupt. So in
Hmm.
in converged infra, we still have three tiers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, but in a box, they are all bundled together. So how come it is a tier?
See, when I say three tier, is the components are still with. I mean, see this with the Nutanix, you get storage internal. It is local to this server. Okay, compute is local to this server. But here, the compute offered by Cisco server, network is offered by Cisco or different vendor, and then storage is with a different vendor. So it is at the back end. It is still a different component. You can still remove it, and you can place it as a different, you can remove it from this box and you can place it in a different rack. You can put it, but technically or logically it does not change anything. Only the difference is you get the centralized provision. So the management is still one console. You can, from one console you can manage all the component, or or each component has its own management. So for an example, Cisco has a UCS manager or UCS mini or SIMC. for the management. NetApp has NetApp console, right? You can still log into each and every component, and you can make the configuration, or there is a centralized management. That's where, I mean, we say FlexPod. The FlexPod console gives you the centralized console for each and every component. Okay, the difference is this one, and then support. In three-tier model, see the traditional data center, we go with, I mean, if any issue arises here, you go and raise a ticket with your Cisco vendor. Okay, if it is with NetApp, you go with NetApp ticket. But here, there is a centralized team deployed by these vendors. You can raise and get it sorted with that one vendor.
Same for V blocks, right?
Correct. Same vBlock. Yeah, we have a Dell EMC storage, and then from the networking side, Cisco switches placed, and then you have the Cisco hardware. See, at the back end, this is how it looks like. See, back end, the cabling part is done with this. It is still with the, I mean, different one.
And VX block is also similar. It's different.
VX blocks, right?
Yeah.
I went. I haven't looked into that. Oh, which are the vendors got involved into that?
Same. Maybe
It's a,
Nutanix could be added in
Dell
VX.
servers, right? I think Dell servers, not VX.
Sorry, NSX.
VC was the support case.
Yeah, I think VX block from the Dell, correct?
Yes, Paul, same. Only
Yeah, yeah.
NSX added in VX block.
Okay, okay, okay. So here we have Cisco hardware, but there it is a Dell hardware. Okay. So now we are actually getting into HCI. I mean, you probably might have. I think I strongly believe that you have. Uh, I mean, why the HCI comes now, right? And now we are going to see HCI, and then we have some competitors here. We will differentiate each and every one, and then we will see why we have to choose Nutanix. Okay. So already you know what is HCI, right? It provides data local and it provides shared storage. Okay. So if you see here, IT departments to be able to provision resources instantly, separate storage networks and servers is not well suited to meet the growing demands of enterprise application or the fast-paced modern business. Getting benefit of both DAS and shared storage, or you can say SAN storage. Okay, so these three are major points here. Okay, instantly provision the resources and keeping the different tiers is not suited for the on-demand enterprise applications, and then it is getting the benefit of both DAS and shared storage. Okay, so I'm not talking about Nutanix. I'm talking about HCI. So most of the vendors follow these standards. Okay, so HCI, it is a x86 based compute. So you have to buy x86 based compute server. So questions some people may have, can I take any server for compute hyper converged infrastructure? Definitely not. There are certain amount of hardwares which are already qualified by each vendor. Okay, so if you want to install Nutanix has qualified some hardware vendors. Okay, vendors and models, so you'll have to choose that. Otherwise you cannot deploy Nutanix solution. Okay, so these models of servers and vendors are hard coded into their solution. Okay, so when you install a Nutanix solution or any solution, it just goes and picks up, see, and validates if the hardware is already into the qualified list. Otherwise it throws an error. Okay, and question is here, and on what basis they are qualifying this hardware, right? They have different standards. We will see that by tomorrow. Okay, what is the requirement from hardware and how these hardwares differentiate different from other servers. Okay, so that we see. Then storage resources. Okay, because it is a evaluation on the storage side, because we are providing data local with the shared storage. Okay, it makes changes on the storage layer. Okay, so you need a storage resources. Third one is the intelligent software. Okay, I said I'm going to provide data local, then shared storage. how are we going to provide that? How are you going to create shared storage? Because in SAN environment, the SAN controller does the role of providing the shared storage, right? But here, who will provide that solution, or who will create that, right? So this intelligent software does it. This is where every component, every vendor plays a role. Okay. See, Android OS is common. Okay, that is, I mean, that developed by Google, and it is open source. But other component vendor, they just fix up the base OS, and then on top of that they add their unique features like Samsung, Sony, Oppo mobiles, right? The same way, HCI is a common terminology, okay, and it has certain standards. So each vendor picks up the base, and then on top they added their own unique features. Okay, so this software will be, or this software is provided by the vendors. So if you go for Cisco, Cisco has a Hyperflex. They give you one software. That software will create your hyper-converged environment. Okay, if you go to Dell VxRail or HP SimpliVity or Nutanix, everywhere you get one software. That one software makes the difference. Okay, rest all common. So x86 based computer and storage resources common for all the vendor. But if you go with Nutanix, you have to take this Nutanix software, or if you go with this Cisco, you have to take Cisco software. If you go with HP, you have to take their own software. Okay, so these three are combined to deliver the hyperconverged infrastructure. Okay, this is another one difference. Okay, this is a three-tier model. You have a compute, then you have the storage switch, and then you have the storage controller. Okay, so here all put into one box, and then on top of that you have the virtualization, and you create your applications. Okay, so the development from the traditional infra, everything is individual component, network,
Paul.
server, storage. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul, sorry to interrupt. Can you go back? Yeah, actually, you said right, intelligent software by that. Okay, each vendor, right?
Mm.
So Newton and Cisco.
Yeah.
So if we go through this course, right?
Mm.
So we will be okay familiar with that Nutanix. So whether I can able to manage that Cisco one or that okay other vendors, like
Okay.
like how we get into that okay AWS, okay the only the terms will be changed in Azure, right? So like that. So all the architecture, okay, only few features only it will change, right? So the
Okay.
same
So
way it will be
80,
for
yeah, 80 to 85 percentage are same, but only some concept like, if you talk about the creation of VM, and then disaster recovery, backup, replication, so all that, like mostly 80 percentage is same. But one the difference is the way the appliance works, the intelligent software works, right? And then deployment side, because vSAN, if you talk about vSAN, you just go to your vCenter and then check, enable the vSAN, and then at the back end it does the vSAN configuration. But here in Nutanix, the deployment is a different approach. You need a different product called Foundation to deploy your Nutanix cluster. Okay, so only the deployment side, and then some features get changed, but all the vendors are offering all the features. Okay, so whatever you get with this, everything is same, but only the names are different. Okay, some naming convention is different, but other than that, most of the features are same. Because if you talk about storage, we have compression, we have a data a deduplication, we have eraser coding. These three are generic to the storage. Okay, it is not Nutanix own features. It is common, so it is already available in SAN, and at the same time, other vendors are also offering the same. So if you know the concept, even you can go and easily do it on the other platform. You don't need to study again, because you know the concept, you know how it works. So it works in all the platform in the same way.
yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Any question? Okay, so the development of IT infra. So we are at now. I mean, mostly we moved into software-defined data center, but currently we are concentrating on this. So adding one layer of this takes you to the software-defined data center. Okay, but the traditional See, network is separate components, server is separate component, storage is separate component, and management of these three tiers, right? Each vendor offers their own management appliance. So console, you need three console to manage it, and it is not easy to deploy because one day you deploy server and then storage team they come, they deploy it, then network team they deploy it, they take care of that, and connect all together is taking longer. Okay, so it is hard to deploy. But server side probably you can virtualize, you can set up ESXi or Hyper-V here, but other side you are not virtualizing, so only it is a server virtualization. Okay, then converge infrastructure. So since you asked me, right, what is the difference? See here, that is, there is no difference here. Still it is a different layer, network, server, storage, but one box comes here. This all in one box, faster deployment. Why faster deployment? Because it is already I mean there is an interconnection between these three, and you will just connect the box, put power on the devices, and then you get the centralized management, and you can deploy the infrastructure faster comparatively traditional. Other than that, there is no much difference. Okay, still, it is a server virtualization only. Okay, the one difference is you get a box and it is all interconnected. Okay, so moving to the hyper-converged infrastructure, management, software-defined storage, and server is to a one box. When I say one box, it's a server. Okay, network, it is still outside. Okay, but other component is coming into a storage server, one server, x86 commodity server. Storage movement towards server, moving storage towards the server. Okay, here the storage is outside of the server, SAN, but here we are bringing the storage towards the server. Okay, server and storage virtualization. Okay, server side we have the Hyper-V and other stuff for like ESXi and NUTANIX hypervisor. But then storage side, it is the with the help of intelligent software, we are creating the software-defined storage. Okay, and it creates data local and share the storage, right? So storage side and server side, the virtualization plays major role, but network still outside. Then last one is software-defined networking. With that, it is a complete software-defined data center. Okay, so now everyone is, I mean, all the vendors are moving towards the software-defined data center. We are already into, I mean, we are also Nutanix, as Nutanix, we are also having the software-defined networking product. Okay, so you can manage your networking with the software-defined networking from Nutanix. So single console for all the components here and there. Okay, so it's a complete virtualization, but here the network is outside. Okay, so that one difference. But this is how the development has happened. Okay. Okay, so now, as I mentioned, these three are common for all the HCI vendors. Okay, and now we will differentiate one by one, and then you will be, I mean, you will be able to understand what is the role of each and every vendor. Okay, so we have, as somebody asked me about Nutanix, right? What is Nutanix? So Nutanix creates the software. Okay, so Nutanix, similar like Cisco, simply with Cisco, Dell, VxRail, they created the software. Okay, so this intelligent software. But this 86 based compute is already available in market. Storage resources is also available. Disks are available. You just connect with the compute. But this intelligent software, right? This software created by Nutanix, Dell, HP, Cisco. Every vendor they created their own software. Okay. So now, okay, coming back, I just wanted to touch base some small story. Okay, so Nutanix initially a hardware company. Okay, what do you mean by hardware company? They manufactured their own hardware. Uh, that's one way answer, but they did not actually manufacture. They have a tie-up with Flextronics and the Super Micro servers. Okay, they reassembled or rebranded those server with the Nutanix. Okay, so they had a contract with the Flextronics and then Supermicro servers, and then they buy it, and then they just branded it as Nutanix, and then sell it to their customer. Okay, so because it requires a hardware. Initially, it requires a hardware because when it comes to market, the HCI, it is a new technology. Without hardware, it was not easy to sell the product. So wherever they go, they talk when they talk about HCI, they say that you have to buy the hardware. Okay, and it has to be their own hardware, which they get it from Supermicro. Hardware and software to be sold together for this solution. Okay, but now the current IT trends is moving towards the software defined. They don't want to. They don't want to be a hardware company. They wanted to be a software company. Then what they said is they started supporting different hardwares. Okay, for an example, if you go to one customer, he says, "Okay, I already have a, 10 plus HPE server in my data center. It is idle. I don't have any workload running on it. Can I reuse it?" NUTANIX says no, you have to buy my own hardware. Okay, so this scenario, then customer may think that okay, I already have 10 HP server. Why don't I choose HP HCA solution? Because if I pick up their solution, I don't need to invest on the hardware. It's because already I have a hardware. If I take it from HPE, I can use their hardware and I can run their HCA solution. Okay, so this way NUTANIX lose the deal. It is a one story, and at the same time some customer says, hey, I don't have extra investment to invest on the hardware, I cannot buy your hardware. Okay, if you have something on the legacy hardware, then let me know, I can consider your solution. Then they want, then they decided, okay, we cannot be a hardware company, we have to be a software company. You take any hardware as you want, I just give you a software. Okay, I'm a software company, I just give you a software, you pick any hardware. Okay, again, that any hardware does not mean all the hardware. There are list of hardware available from Nutanix support list. You have to take any one hardware from that. If you have any hardware from that list, you can take it, otherwise you can go with any hardware as you wish. Because some customer, they rely they rely on HPE hardware, or some customer they rely on Dell server. They don't want to have another server vendor in their data center, because everything is Dell. They want it to be a Dell they want to have Dell hardware. Okay, so those cases, it is again a problem, right? If it is a hardware company. So they said, okay, so we have to consider all that. Then they started supporting all the hardware. Okay, then they made a partnership with other hardware vendors. Like they have a three different ad categories. One is OEM vendors, then one is software only vendors, then NX. So NX is Nutanix own hardware. Some new customers, they don't have any hardware. In that cases, Nutanix says, okay, you can buy any hardware or you can buy our own hardware. That's one case. It is still super microservers delivered by Nutanix. That's NX. Okay, coming to the OEM, Nutanix has a partnership with the different hardware vendor, right? So OEM is similar, like okay, I don't touch base more on this OEM and others, but to know for now, there are three different categories. Okay, but only Cisco says, hey, I cannot make your OEM partnership. What is OEM? I'll touch base that tomorrow or maybe next week. Okay, but three different categories for now. Okay, so they said, I cannot be a OEM vendor, authorized vendor. Okay, but I can be your software only vendor. Why? Because Cisco already has their Cisco has hyperflex solution. Because I want to push my solution, but if I announce that I supported Nutanix software, then people will not buy hyperflex. Okay, people may go for Nutanix solution. So it will affect our internal pre-sales team who is working on the hyperflex. They said, like, we cannot make any partnership officially, but we can be support you to run Nutanix solution, but we don't want to be a OEM vendor. So Cisco and other vendor who is doing the similar role, right? They all comes under the SX software only platform. Okay, then OEM side, we have HP servers, Dell servers, Lenovo, Fujitsu, all that comes under OEM side. Okay, so so now this is a overall background of hardware side. Okay, then coming to the soft hypervisor layer. Okay, so all the vendors, HP, Cisco, Dell, NetApp, and Nutanix. Okay, so all the vendors, okay, if you see the hypervisor layer, they don't have their own hypervisor. So everyone is using either ESXi or Microsoft Hyper-V. Okay, these two are major vendors. Okay, they are using these vendors. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, so their hypervisor layer is still different. Okay, so I mean every vendor depends on these two vendor. Like Dell, they manufacture their hardware, but they manufacture their they develop their intelligent software, but they don't have the hypervisor. Okay, it is common for all the vendors. Okay, not even for Nutanix, it was a story, same story. So they have to work with VMware. On top, they install this software. It is the software will be deployed as a VM. Okay, so this to run this VM, you need a hypervisor. So for hypervisor, you have to go for VMware or Microsoft Hyper-V, because these two are already in market and they hold 100% customer, because VMware has a 1995 base customer, then remaining 5% goes to Microsoft Hyper-V, right? So you cannot bypass these two vendor and move forward, right? Because hypervisor, the virtualization layer is still with them, so you have to create your solution on to run on top of them, right? So all vendor is using this two side. Okay, so so the virtualization is still with them. Okay, so the hardware side, Nutanix is already accommodating other hardware vendors, so they are now software based company. But the another problem now comes with this uh, comes here is the virtualization layer. Okay, see, if I have one product, okay, so for an example, I have a car. Okay, so in this car, I don't have a sound system. Okay, but I bought it. I wanted to, or maybe the sound system I can only put it is specific from that particular vendor. But I wanted to go for something like Bosch or something, but the car does not support. Okay, and they don't want to support it. But as a user, I wanted to use the Bosch sound system, but because of the support issue, I'm not able to use it, right? So similar way, Nutanix always try to bring up some unique, innovative ideas, but the base hypervisor layer, right? If it does not support, they cannot bring their own ideas. Okay, they wanted to be a unique product in the market compared to the other vendor, but their innovative ideas is purely based on the base layer of virtualization. Okay, I can give you a small story. I mean, a couple of years back, VMware has closed all the APIs to support some of the third-party virtual switches, like Cisco 1000V, Cisco ACI, all can deploy a virtual software, virtual devices on the ESXi, and you don't need to create your distributed switches from the vCenter. Okay, Cisco 1000V or Cisco ACI will deploy a new distributed switch, and they manage the distributed switches. Okay, but later VMware closed that API to support other vendors. Okay, it was a very big topic when it came in the market, and most of the vendors were shocked about this decision. Okay, because the whole businesses depends on VMware. Suddenly they closed the API and they were not able to set up anything. They were not the whole business got collapsed, right? So probably Nutanix might have think about similar scenarios, and they decided, okay, so if we want to be a successful in this business and we cannot rely on VMware hypervisor, so we need to have our own hypervisor. Okay, so then they uh, develop their own hypervisor. Okay, so but again, creating a double hypervisor is not at all easy, right? So they decided to take some of the open source. So KVM, kernel virtual machine hypervisor, is open source hypervisor in market. They took that, and then they took some binaries from the CentOS 6 and 5.9. Okay, so kernel, KVM kernel, and user part. So on OS we have a kernel and user, right? So kernel from the KVM and the user part from the CentOS. Okay, so this putting these two together, they created their own hypervisor. Okay, so that's the one difference comparatively other competitors. Okay, Nutanix is already a software company. They don't push to buy their hardware, but they also have their own hardware. Coming to the hypervisor side, initially they were supporting. They built their solution on top of ESXi and Hyper-V, but later they brought their own hypervisor, which is open source KVM based hypervisor, and top they added some binaries from CentOS. Okay, so now with this they got the freedom of adding their unique innovative ideas on top of this hypervisor. Okay, so this is the one story about Nutanix. Okay, so now this two are plays a major role to win the Nutanix deal. Okay, so why we are talking Nutanix is sitting top in the HCI is because of these two areas. Okay, not only these two, but these two plays a major reason. Okay, so always you get a question when you go for an interview. They ask you, why do we have to choose Nutanix when we have different competitors? Okay, these two reasons, but still I have to add couple of reasons. I'll add slowly with, I still have a couple of slides, then I'll talk about that later. Okay, so so now before touching Nutanix, okay, so this is again, so the hypervisor, actually the name of the hypervisor is hypervisor AHV. It is Nutanix hypervisor. Okay, and it also support ESXi, and Hyper V. Okay, so hypervisor side, this is the one. Storage, server side, so no hardware lock-in. We are not locking you into specific hardware. We are not forcing you to buy specific hardware. Okay, we have large ecosystems. We have large amount of supported hardwares in the market. You can pick as you wish. Okay, uh, these two points makes you to compare Nutanix with other vendors. Okay, so now going to okay, I come back to this slide little later. Okay, so going to VMware vSAN. Okay, Nutanix comparison. So Nutanix vSAN and Nutanix or HCI, the only difference is VMware vSAN supported ESXi. The hypervisor support is ESXi. Okay, I think they may support Hyper-V now, but I'm not sure that. Somewhere I read, but I'm clearly not sure. But initially, when I prepared this, it was the only supported for ESXi. Okay, so if you need VMware vSAN, you have to buy ESXi. Okay, Nutanix, with Nutanix it supports AHV, ESXi, Hyper-V, and XAN. Okay, see, everywhere I'm going to buy the hypervisor. What makes the difference with the Nutanix? Still, the question is probably you might have that question, right? Everywhere the hypervisor is going to change. Only the name is going to change. AHV is it's a Hyper-V, but end of the day, I'm going to get all the virtualization, right? But how I get benefit of Nutanix here, right? So Nutanix gives this hypervisor for free of cost. Okay, AHV is the open source hypervisor. They gives this hypervisor for free of cost. ESXi, you know how much license you have to pay it, right? For even for Hyper-V, if you have 60 servers, so 60 servers you have to buy license, and every periodic time you have to renew that license. So there are a lot of cost involved. But AHV is a lifetime free hypervisor. Okay, this one reason makes customer to impress about Nutanix. Okay, because as I mentioned, VMware, Cisco, HP are already leader in market. Okay, I mean in generic way, they already have a very strong customer base. They can easily go and impress the customer. But to go to customer and impress the customer for Nutanix is a big challenge. Until unless if they don't have a strong business strategy or a strong point. Okay, then they decided, okay, so this adds lot value for their business. Okay, then they announced AHV is free of cost. Okay, but there is still mass market strategies here. AHV is free only for the starter edition. Okay, we have two more editions, Pro and Ultimate, which involves cost. But base hypervisor AHV is free of cost. Okay, so it's a lifetime free. Okay, that is the another difference. Okay, so if you go for any other hypervisor, you have to pay lot of money. But AHV is a free hypervisor. Okay, so coming to the VMware vSAN, it supports ESXi only, so you have to buy ESXi license. Okay, and hardware, it majorly support most of the hardware sales. Hardware, VMware does not have their own hardware; they support all the hardware, so that's not an issue. Okay, and the cluster size, if you see, maximum you can have 64 nodes in VMware vSAN. But in Nutanix, it is unlimited for AHV hypervisor and same for 64 on ESXi. Okay, uh, unlimited on AHV in the sense you can have any amount of nodes in your cluster, but it is still not recommended to keep more number of nodes in the cluster. Okay, so this we will talk when we have a technical discussion, maybe next week or next week. Okay, but for now, just keep in mind the differences. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about these two differences majorly. So others are like generic one. Okay, moving to the Cisco HyperFlex, it supports ESXi and Hyper-V, and the platform support, it supports only Cisco hardware. Cisco has a HyperFlex C series server, and you have to buy their hardware. Buy this hardware, then buy this hypervisor. Okay, Cisco is locking you to Cisco hardware, and then again, hypervisor side, they don't have their own hypervisor. We have to use ESXi or Hyper-V. Okay, HP simplicity, HP has their own hardware. Okay, but the virtualization is still with ESXi and Hyper-V. Okay, Microsoft Azure Stack, you need a Hyper-V hypervisor. It does not support ESXi, and at the same time, the Hyper-V involves cost. Correct. So these are the difference. If I ask you customer that if you have an interview question, I have VMware vSAN, I have Hyper-V, sorry, SimpliVity, VxRide, but why specifically I need to take Nutanix? Okay, because two reasons, major reasons. Nutanix offers free hypervisor, which is AHV, lifetime free. Then it does not lock you to any specific hardware. There are a list of hardwares available in the market, but if you go for HP, you have to buy only HP hardware. If you go for Dell, you have to buy only Dell hardware. VMware side, and you have to use ESXi. If you use ESXi, the cost involved, license cost involved. Okay. So now moving to here. Okay. Why Nutanix? When I have so many competitors in market, it offers free hypervisor.
Yeah, Paul,
Enterprise
sorry.
Nutanix. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, like a free hypervisor means okay, we no need to pay for anything for Nutanix or how it will be like because I don't understand. Like, is there any cost involved if we use the Nutanix? And what about the support if we using that AHV?
Okay.
No, no,
Okay.
because I
On a
just
high
click
level,
on.
yeah, on a high level, I say, but there is still a
Okay,
comparison for that part.
okay,
You
okay,
don't get a
okay,
support.
okay.
You don't have, yeah, yeah, you don't get a support, and you don't get most of the features. Okay, so this is again business strategy. Okay, so starter will not help you for the production use cases. Okay, because in a starter you can have maximum 12 nodes in your cluster. Okay, so easily some customers go for 30, 40, 50 nodes in cluster, but this is not the case in starter. Then advanced features, more, there are so many advanced features that's not available in the starter edition. Okay, and coming to the license part, there are two licenses in Nutanix. One is a new Prism license, then another one is Acropolis license. Prism takes care of management, Acropolis takes care of data plane. Okay, On the GUI, whatever the customization you can do or what analytics you wanted to do, all that right depends upon the Prism license. And internal the data plane, right? Replication, disaster recovery, high available backup, all that stuff comes under the data plane. So these two supports very basic feature on starter license. Very basic features you have it. Okay, so probably I can say the difference is if you go in VMware, once the license period got expired, you will not be able to create any resources. Okay, so probably starter, if you have a trial period, once the trial period ends, you cannot do any stuff. But here it is not a case. You can do all the basic stuffs. Your VM still run. Okay, you can do basic operations side, but the support and the advanced feature is not in the starter license. Okay, clear? Okay. AHV is ESXi. Is similar like ESXi. Okay, it is running on the KVM kernel virtual hypervisor, right? But ESXi, you can enter ESXi IP on the browser, you get the console of your hypervisor, then you create VM. But AHV is not a case. AHV is a CLI based console. Even to create a VM, you have to use the CLI console to create a VM. There is no GUI for the hypervisor. Okay, to create all that, you need the management. Prism, yeah, right. Any question? Okay, so free hypervisors again. We still have yeah. Any question? Okay, so this free hypervisor pod, right? AHV. We will discuss more on AHV hypervisor, so then you will clearly understand. The point what we are discussing, right? Free hypervisor, and we will seek some of the features from AHV also. Okay. Then second, enterprise cloud. Now most of the vendors, I don't say most, all the vendors are enterprise cloud. Okay, you have a private cloud, you have the hybrid cloud support. So every component, every vendor in HCI is an enterprise cloud. Full stack model, this is the full stack model. Okay, I have not added the latest features here, but this is the old scratch screen. But now a lot of changes happened and a lot of new features, products come into Nutanix. So what is full stack? Whatever you need for a data center, I already told you, right? Do you need backup? Do you need a software defined networking? Do you need a encryption, backup, disaster recovery, migration? Okay, so container services like Kubernetes services, block service, file service, all whatever you need, everything is available in Nutanix. You don't need to consider a different vendor for different services. You can get all from Nutanix. Okay, so that is a full stack model. You can highlight this one. Then multi-server and hypervisor support. Multi-server, we are supporting plenty amount of servers. Hypervisor, we are supporting ESXi and Hyper-V. Then this is one major point to be highlighted. Then one-click activity. This one-click activity makes administrator life very smooth. Okay, the maintenance and down upgrade activity, right? All that is a one-click. It is very simple comparatively to other components. Okay, in traditional data center, this is a very it is a headache for the team to do the maintenance and then bring back the production without downtime, right? Sometimes zero downtime is required, sometimes very less downtime required, and within a span of time you need to bring up your application. That all like difficult process in legacy, but here it is automated. You just need to upload your images or the firmware or drivers, and Nutanix go makes the process very easy. So everything from just one click you can take care of. You can take care of your hypervisor upgrade or the intelligent software what we are discussing, right? That software upgrade, or any firmware upgrade. Okay, so this is another feature to be highlighted. Okay, so more you definitely will get this question from interview, so you can say that free hypervisor offered by AHV full stack model, then hypervisor multi-server support, and then one-click activity. So enterprise cloud, it is now common. You can still highlight, but not but the major points they expect is these four. Okay, because if the interviewer is already having good experience with Nutanix, then he first point he expect is this point, free hypervisor. Okay, then second point is no hardware locking. You don't need to say multi-server support, no hardware locking. We are not locking customer to specific hardware. Okay, so how to identify the customer? Okay, so how to identify a customer is some of the new customers. Okay, if they are trying to set up their private cloud environment or hybrid cloud environment, that is the opportunity for the pre-sales team to get into the deal and win the opportunity. Okay, and DevOps based environment, database environment. Okay, and then Citrix VDI, Microsoft workload, Splunk, big data, Robo. Okay, and then OpenShift deployment. OpenShift now currently Nutanix supports OpenShift to be deployed on the Nutanix. So these are the opportunities, and then generic virtualization platform. So customer is looking for virtualization. Okay, and these are the charges for the pre-sales team to get into the deal and get the opportunity. Okay, so okay, so obviously you might have a question. So I know now what is Nutanix now. In which are the cases I can consider about Nutanix, right? So Nutanix works well for infrastructure like where you need a high performance. Okay, so examples: Citrix VDI. Okay, then databases, then Splunk. Okay, so these are the major major services which requires Nutanix. Okay, this because this requires high performance, and because with the data local, Nutanix can provide that performance. So that is why scenarios like VDI databases and Splunk big data related environment, right? So there HCI fits. Okay, so that's a generic answer. HCI fits for these workloads, but then why Nutanix? You already have an answer, right? Free hypervisor, no hardware locking, one-click activity, and full stack model. Okay, so the time is already 7:35. You guys want to take a break? 5-10 minutes. Want to take a break?
We can
Yes.
finish the
Okay.
session earlier, right?
Okay, that also makes sense. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I do that. Yeah. So that's the comparison with Nutanix and other competitors. Okay, so now we are getting into Nutanix slowly, but before that, we have some of the storage architectures. Okay,
Paul, sorry to interrupt. Like, okay, Shiva
yeah,
here. Okay, so during the thing, okay, I lost my internet connectivity. So can you explain that? What is a full stack? Like, okay, all the hardware in single thing, that is a full stack, or like full
okay.
stack
So
model?
if you go for any data center, you have a hardware from server from one vendor. Okay, then you have a network from one vendor. You have a storage from different vendor on a traditional three-tier model. Okay, storage from HP, storage from Dell EMC or Hitachi or NetApp, switches from Cisco or Brocade. Okay, then servers from Dell, HP, Lenovo. Okay, this is one part. Then for the backup, you have a tape based backup solution. For that, you have a backup vendor, probably VM backup or net backup. Okay, And then for the encryption, key management server, you have a different component. Okay, for a NetApp, sorry, not NetApp, McAfee based encryption or different vendors you have. Okay, then for the Kubernetes setup, you might have Kubernetes orchestration. You might be using AWS EKS or Azure EKS or some maybe bare metal based Kubernetes environment. Okay, that one. Then for the migration, uh, you might use a different one. Hypervisor, you might use a VMware or Hyper-V. So if you go to each and every layer, you see different vendors plays a role. You don't get all the components from one vendor, okay? Because network you have to depend with Cisco. For storage, you have to go for Dell EMC or Dell EMC or NetApp, right? For server, HP has server, but Dell has server, but Dell has a storage, but Dell does not have the hypervisor layer. Dell does not offer you Kubernetes engine. Okay, Dell does not offer you software-defined networking, right? So these are the challenges with in the data center. Okay, so with the Nutanix, Nutanix offers you their native support for all this. You want backup? I have a native backup. You want disaster recovery? I have a native disaster recovery support. You want software defined networking? I have a product. You want orchestration and hybrid cloud offer? I have a product. Okay. Then replication, Kubernetes, volume services. So all that you get from Nutanix. You don't need to look for a different vendor. But if you ask me, so should I must use Nutanix for that? I mean, should I use Nutanix for all the solutions? Definitely not the case. Nutanix offers you all that, but it is still option with you to decide. You wanted to use Nutanix service or you wanted to have a different vendor. Because for an example, backup, Nutanix has a native backup, but some customers they might have already have net backup or VM backup or Commvault. Okay, they want to have that centralized backup. I wanted to keep backup separately, so I keep using the Commvault backup. I don't want to have native backup Nutanix. Yes, Nutanix supports that too. Okay, but it offers its native backup. If you don't have a budget, if you want to use the native service, you can use it. But if you have wanted to go for different one, the ecosystem supports different vendors. So that's about full stack model.
Yeah, got it. Thanks, Paul. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so then there are so many products Nutanix has. Era. Era is a database as a service, so it is similar like AWS RDS, relational database services, right? But RDS is for public cloud. Era is for hybrid cloud. You can deploy your databases on premises or in the AWS with the Era. It automates the database deployment. Okay. Then COM, it takes care of orchestration. My hybrid cloud Prism Pro, this is the license from Prism. I said Prism Starter, Pro, and Ultimate, right? This is Pro, it provides some advanced feature. Okay, then Prism Xi-Beam. Xi-Beam, it is the cost optimization for public cloud. Then Xi IoT, Xi Frame, this is desktop as a service like VDI. Okay, you don't need to set up your VDI like Citrix or VMware Horizon on your data center. So there are two layers, like one is control plane and then one is the hosted desktops. So for Citrix, you need to have Citrix infrastructure created first, then you create additional your persistence desktop. So you need to manage the Citrix infrastructure, right? That headaches you don't get it with frame. Frame man takes care of the infrastructure. You can you can purchase frame. You can deploy your persistent desktop. Okay. Then Xi approach, it is not good in market now. Okay. Then Carbon is a Kubernetes engine. It is similar like AKS and EKS. Okay. This is for on-prem. Then files, it is an similar like NAS file share, right? The shared folder where you place your files and others will access the files. You can create the files. AOS, it is the intelligent software. That intelligent software we are talking, right? AOS, it's an operating system. Okay, AOS is an operating system. Uh, this is what the intelligent software. It creates the data local, it creates the distributed storage, it creates the Nutanix cluster. Okay, then AHV is a hypervisor, native hypervisor. Move is for the migration from VMware to ESX, VMware to AHV or AWS to AHV or AHV to AWS. Okay, that migration you can do. Mine is a secondary storage for backup. Flow is a software-defined networking. Xi Leap is a cloud-based disaster recovery. Okay, some of the products we see more detail in upcoming days. Okay, but not for all the product because that's not, I mean, few products we can only see the theoretically because getting the lab for Nutanix is very, very difficult. I mean, we engage with some of the vendor to get some labs. We are trying that. Last training we got it for 2 days. We will try that for this session too. Otherwise, we'll have to use the test drive available in Nutanix. Okay, we'll have to use it. But if you want to build up your own lab, you can set it up on your home or in your in your office on ESXi as a VM. Okay, but the requirement is it has huge requirement in terms of resources. Okay, that's not something easily you can create on your home. Okay, because you need 500 GB of storage and a good amount of CPU, and it does not support in all the hardware vendor. Okay, I can give you that link on the chat WhatsApp. You can try to create your lab. um, that's the biggest challenge in Nutanix. So the getting the lab is not at all easy. Okay. Okay, I don't think we can finish this by today. Okay, because if I touch base this architecture, it takes a longer time. So we still have 10 more minutes. I don't think we can finish this. Okay. Okay, so probably I talk about this NX and SX. Okay. So I already told you NX Nutanix appliance, then we have OEM platform and third party servers. Okay, so Nutanix appliance comes under NX. So when you go for support customer, Nutanix support team ask you, do you have NX or OEM or SX? Okay, so if from the question you have to understand NX means Nutanix, SX software only, then OEM platform. So OEM platform, what is the difference between OEM and third-party servers? Okay, so OEM means with the Dell, with HP, some hardwares, not some model of servers. Okay, and then Fujitsu, Lenovo. Okay, Nutanix has a OEM partnership. So the difference here is if you order Nutanix hardware. Okay, so if you order NX platform, it default it hypervisor AHV is gets installed on this appliance and send it to you. Any question? Okay. So when you buy Nutanix appliance, okay, Nutanix sends this hardware with hypervisor installed. Which hypervisor? It is AHV hypervisor. Okay. So you have to buy the hardware. You can just connect it to the switch, and then you can create your cluster. Okay. You don't need to install the hypervisor because it's already pre-installed by the vendor when they send it to you. Okay, it is a factory pre-install. In the factory itself they pre-install the hypervisor. Okay, so then in coming to the OEM platform, they made this partnership with some of the hardware vendor. For those hardware vendor, the case is same. If you buy HP DX platform, or if you buy Dell hardware, or if you buy Lenovo hardware, it gets pre-installed. Okay, I mean the hypervisor gets pre-installed in the factory itself. It is a factory imaged node, and it's send it to you. They send it to you. Okay, third party servers, you buy the hardware, you buy the software from Nutanix and you have to install on yourself or with the help of professional services team. Okay, so you might think that okay, installing the hypervisor is easy one, right? I can directly install it, but this easy one, but it requires some extra effort. Okay, you have to download the foundation. Foundation is a product which helps you to image hypervisor, then install a CVM. CVM is a special VM. This VM use the AOS operating system, Acropolis operating system. What is that Acropolis operating system? It is an intelligent software. Okay, so that CVM and other architecture, right? I'll talk tomorrow. But for now, there is a special intelligent software. That software is converted into the ISO AOS operating system. That operating system will be deployed on top of the hypervisor. Okay, so NX and OEM, these two already done in the factory itself. Imaging the node, when I say imaging, hypervisor installation, that's for AHV. On top, the CVM will be created. It's a special VM with the intelligent help of intelligent software that gets created. Okay, now you buy this, take the server, connect to the switch, power on, and then form. You only have to do the create cluster command. If you have to pass the command create cluster, your cluster gets created. But in third party server, it's not a case. You have to buy a hardware. You have to wait for the hardware to come. Then you buy the software from Nutanix, install the hypervisor, and then on top of that, you have to install the CVM. Then you have to create a cluster. Okay, so, but here another challenge is you when you buy OEM hardware or Nutanix appliance, it by default comes with AHV hypervisor, not VMware or not Hyper-V. But if you want to change your hypervisor, again, then in that case you have to uh, do the procedure like third-party server. You download the hypervisor, uh, format your server, install, then CVM will be installed, then create your cluster. Okay, earlier stage it was a manual process. You have to do all this stuff manually, but later the foundation product comes which automated. So you have to upload your ISO images, you have to upload your NX, sorry, AOS operating system, and that tool will do the all the activities. Okay, but it is a different, this is these are the roles, these are the responsibilities. These responsibilities will be taken care by field engineers or professional services team. Okay, so if you are going for the field deployment cases, then you will have to spend good time with these three areas. Okay, the foundation is a separate module. We will cover that, but unfortunately, we will not be able to cover any lab for it because you can install CVM on your data center. You can take the console, but creating a cluster or imaging the node, you really need the production nodes. Okay, it cannot be done on the lab environment. Okay, you have to do it on the production. So if you are really working on that case, or if you are really interested to know this, then you have to watch Nutanix space. They sometimes conduct a lab for this. Okay, so webinars, or they give you some lab. Okay, they create a lab and they give you some production lab. Okay, they already have some devices on their data center. They give you that. Okay, but it happens very rare. But you have to continuously watch their uh, pages if there is any lab session. Okay, so on a high level, NX and SX, these are the differences. Okay, when you go for NX and OEM platform, you get the pre-installed hypervisor, and then CVM is also already created. Only then you have to pass the command to create cluster. But third-party server, it does not. It's just an empty server, nothing install. Okay, you or your professional team will install hypervisor and CVM for you. Okay, then if you want to change your hypervisor on the factory image node, you have to follow the same procedure like third-party server. Okay, so bare metal server installation, and then OEM-based installation. So these two different category you can find in the internet. If you want to search more, if you want to know more about it, you can look in the Nutanix website. Okay, but we will cover some part of this deployment in the upcoming slide. Okay, I think, yeah, so this probably we can see tomorrow. Okay, so this one part I wanted to touch base first, and then we have to get into the other slides. So this will take a long time. We will cover hybrid cloud, all flash, and then why do we have different hardwares, different storage in the HCI supported hardware. Okay, so yeah, so we'll see server architecture by tomorrow. Meanwhile, any questions on the point what we, I mean, the areas what we covered?
Yeah, Paul. Actually, I have like okay, so that the Nutanix servers, it's called NX, right? So OEM servers, it is called ASX, right? Or
Okay, so yes, it's NX is yes, Nutanix hardware,
Hmm.
Nutanix appliances, all NX. In SX, they say OEM and third party. They put these two
Okay,
in
both.
the two under SX.
Okay,
Okay, so
okay,
software only platform. Okay,
okay, okay, okay. So
okay,
as you
so
said,
in
right, so
mm,
that getting the labs is very difficult, right? So
mm,
actually, I just joined this for okay, if we have some hands-on experience, so that okay, in my organization, we are okay, they are already using that Nutanix. So
mm.
once I complete this course, I maybe get into that team. Okay, if I had that opportunity, if any openings are there, okay. So how it will be useful for me, like okay, how I need to train or how I need to okay explore myself to get into that okay production support.
Okay, see, definitely this training is, I mean, it's not something like I'm trying to something say highlight about my training, but definitely this is something different than other trainings, okay? Because even this one module, right, and the next day session is definitely not in the any of Nutanix training. But at the same time, lab side, we work with, I mean, generally we pay and get the lab from one of the vendor. But the challenge here is they give for 4 full days training. Okay, but with this weekend model, we were not able to engage with them with this kind of approach because it goes for 1 month or sometimes 2 months, and every weekend we may require lab, and that's not something possible to get the lab. So what we do is initially for 1 or 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, maximum 3 weeks, we really don't need the lab. The test drive which is available in Nutanix is more than I mean it is helpful to demonstrate the basic things. But in between we get 1 or 2 days the lab from the vendor and we will demonstrate the lab session. For your use cases, the problem with Nutanix is it is very straightforward to create the stuff from Nutanix, but getting the understanding of the internal architecture, how it works, how you do performance tuning. So somebody's customer says, "Hey, I have a performance issue. How can you sort it out?" Right? So performance issues cannot be. I mean, you cannot say by one word because there are a lot of components gets involved. Which are the things you need to see? Okay, how which are the tunings you have to do to make sure the performance gets well, right? And then talking about the internal architecture, how replication works, what happens if hard disk goes down, what happens if one node goes down, and if I want to expand more cluster, more nodes, or if I want to have rack fault tolerance or data center level or node level. Okay, so there are so many things involved in this training, but definitely it helps you to clear most of your interviews. Okay, and then it definitely add weightage to your skill set to handle your engagement. Okay, if you already have a production setup, then definitely it is another good thing to take up this course because some case some features is even not even available in the community edition, because in the lab we use community edition, not the production cluster. Okay, community edition specifically designed for the lab and learning purpose, and most of the some features does not work in this environment. So if you have a production environment, I give you the background of for that feature, how it works. You can straight away go and look into that, and you don't need to create it, but you can easily correlate how it works. Okay, so that one good thing, if you already have a cluster with you, a production cluster, and you can just sometimes you get some option to create some basic steps, right, without impacting your production use cases. So I'll tell you If you wanted to know which other things you can do it on the production setup without disturbing the actual workflows. So probably you can practice that.
Yeah, but actually the thing is that okay, we have the production setup. Okay, the setup is there, but I don't have that access. So that is the reason I just came to this course. So once I just completed this course, so whether I